in here, let's unselect that. Now let's jump in at this point to look at our correction table. So I'm going to go ahead and click generic correction 1. We can see that fuel generic correction here is going to pop up in our tab, and we're going to see that we can load conditions for this map to work. So if we don't select particular conditions here, the map will just automatically kick in and start doing its thing and trimming. So if I wanted to have conditions, I might say my load, and we could set our conditions, would be either less than or equal to a load pressure of 0 psi or less or higher than, engine RPM, or throttle position. Now we can change this, and we can drop out the conditions here. We can set this however we like. Now, I normally don't use this logic conditions. I normally program whatever I want into my generic correction table here, but we have some flexibility. We have to keep in mind that we can do that. If we click apply and OK, and we jump into the correction table here, one thing, or several things, let's go through some examples of what we could use this correction table for and why we might want to go ahead and implement it. If you have your air conditioning turned on and you have some offset as the AC's on, sometimes you're going to notice that your air fuel will slightly change because you have more of a load on the engine. And if you're at idle, that might be able to lean out the engine a little bit. You have to add some additional fuel. You'll notice that if you have your fuel correction going on, it's going to kick in and raise the percentage of fuel correction at idle. So what we could do is, if we go up to setup, table setup, if we look at our column axis here, we could actually set, or I'm sorry, our row axis, we could actually set a table here. We go in a row and go to select our AC request. So if we push the button, then we know that our air conditioning is going to be turning on. So we could either do AC request or AC output. If we selected either or, let's just do AC out. We did a 0 and a 1, so either it's on or off. And then on our column axis here, we would select RPM, and we would go in here and select engine RPM, and we base this on 1,000. Let's do another one here at 2,000. Let's do another one here at 3,000. We would want to apply just an offset versus our engine RPM here at idle. So with AC on, we might find that we have to add at right around our target, so 1,000 RPM and less, we might have to add 5%. But once we get up above 1,000 with the AC on, we don't have to run any because we're not going to have that offset effect that's going to be possibly dragging the engine down at that point, and we don't have to really enrich in the fuel anymore. So there'd be one situation where 0 represents our air conditioning off, and then 1 would represent it on, and then we would just simply apply that modifier here. And we could tighten the breakpoints up. We might be able to do 900 RPM to maybe 1,000 RPM.